they say women drivers are bad.
All bets are off, you guys. Now, that wasn't too fast for the curve.
You couldn't have taken that turn cold sober at that speed. Set him up again for the final race.
Oh, no, I told you I don't like this game. You've got no control. And anyway, I don't drink and drive. Right?
I'm getting tired of this game. Me too. I wish we could go to the beach. I wish we could, too.
Okay, let's cut out. We can log some beach time before we go back to the base.
Let's meet them at the car.
Okay.
Who, me? Drive in my condition? Oh, no. If you think that I'm going to take this thing out there in my present state and have a big old wreck, you're out of your skull. I'm not. Old William here is doing the driving, because I'm in no shape to. William the Keys, as you're so obviously in control of the situation and have had only 3 brews, you drive.
All right, passengers, into the flying carpet. Trust sober old William.
How far is this beach anyway?
Oh, 15 minutes, if the traffic's right. Move it, lady. Let's go.
Well, take it easy, old buddy. We're not in any big rush.
That old gal acts like she owns the road.
Somewhere right now, it may be 0-3 for someone on the highway. Through the magic of motion pictures, we've stopped the clock to examine this one in detail. This is Carl Palmer, ex-race driver, now operator of a school for race drivers, a test driver, writer, and inventor. The conference you are about to see is a figment of our imagination, since it takes place during the moment in time in which we have stopped the clock.
Good morning, Dr. Action.
Oh, how are you?
So you're a medical expert.
Yeah, right I am. I hear we have a really unique experience.
Yeah, the others are already inside.
Oh, I thought it might be a bit late.
Yeah.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Mr. Alden. Can we be seated, maybe? Yes, sir. Gentlemen, we're here today to investigate a situation and to decide if in 3 seconds this event will become an accident. With the help of Dr. Ashland here, our medical expert, Mr. Albans, a traffic accident investigator, Mr. Smallwood, our traffic engineer, we hope we can trace the causes and forces involved here and learn what put these people in this situation. 0-3. We've collected data prior to 0-3, and we will refer to our data recorders as we get further into this investigation.
In our opinion, the 2 men involved were responsible individuals. They both have had experience driving and drinking.
Of course, driving ability improves with experience, but experts tell me that no amount of experience will combine alcohol and driving. Anyway, let's see if Bill, who elected to drink, then drive. He can cut it in the 3 seconds he has. Now, mind you, both of these men thought they knew about drinking and driving. Bob knew enough to ask Bill to drive, which was better than trying to do the driving himself. But how much better? The knowledge, the attitudes, and the misconceptions that Bob and Bill had got them here.
Doctor, I sort of assumed so far that alcohol played a part in this. Bob, we know, was too far gone to drive safely. Bill had 3 drinks. Was that too much? And how much is too much?
Well, if you ask me that way, I'd have to say that any amount of alcohol is too much. That is, if you intend to drive any time soon after drinking it.
As we look at some of these scenes, watch these 2 men. Bob really is on his way. He just barely can walk. How about Bill? After 3 beers, is he too high to drive? He looks fine. All right. Bob's movements are too broad and not always appropriate. His speech is slurred and he's weaving a bit. He was definitely a poor candidate for the road. Now, Bill was on a different category. The effects on him are not so easy to see. Let's have some guesses about how Bill might have been affected. He was sure everything was just fine. In his own mind, he was a better driver than he was before he took the drinks. As you all know, I operate a school for race drivers. Here's one job where a man needs a lot of skill and confidence. You never get too much skill, but you can get too much confidence. How would alcohol affect this driver? It's simple. An overconfident race driver just wouldn't last long. His good judgment comes from long hours of practice. Put yourself in this picture. A tight curve coming up. Downshift. Got to be just right. How about this for a spot to have your reaction slow down a bit? That's what alcohol would do. It's a depressant, not a stimulant. It seems to be a stimulant because it makes us more confident, more impulsive, less held back by the rules. At the racing school, we stress the driver's ability to judge distances, a handy thing to have going for you on the road. We drill on muscular coordination. Good vision is essential. Alcohol in the brain would dull all of these. Alcohol also weakens your natural feelings of self-protection. Under the influence, you feel that you'll never die. You can't. You're on the track, invincible. You think. But the will to stay alive might keep you from making a reckless decision. You need this will to survive.
Suppose you're driving along a narrow road. Your speed is about 60. Watch the taillights ahead. Now, press down the A button. A for accelerate. But be ready to hit the B, the brakes, when you see his stoplights go on. Now, this time we're going to impose a delay in your reaction time. The same kind of delay the drinking driver gives himself, though he may not know it. When you see the stoplights, move from A to C and then to B, the brakes.
Too bad. In that extra 1/2 second you took to react because of the delay we imposed, you traveled almost 1/4 the distance farther. 15 feet past his rear bumper. So that's another effect of alcohol, slowed reaction time.
Bob and Bill knew some of these things, and they still got into the car. Why?
I suppose Bill figured he hadn't had enough to affect them. I'm only guessing.
Let's get some of their opinions. I think it's important how they feel about this.
You know, actually, I do pretty well after 2 or 3 beers. I'm better, you know. I really believe that I'm a better driver because I watch it more, you know.
Well, of course, I'm used to a beer or 2 every night anyway, so when I have another one, it doesn't affect me that much more. Like I built up a tolerance for it, more than most.
Well, I just drink a cup of coffee or 2 and I'm fine. No problem. I'm as good as new.
Most accidents that involve drinking are the real drunks, you know, blind. I mean, guys that are really stoned. When I get that way, I don't drive. Actually, this whole subject doesn't apply to me because, and I know probably everybody says this too, but I'm really a good driver. When I've had a few, I just compensate. I mean, I know it, and I allow for it.
Okay, that's what they thought. Now, there are some half-truths in those opinions and some misconceptions.
When you get into your automobile to go somewhere, what are your chances of having an accident? Well, you and I know it depends on the weather, the time, the place, and you can talk about chance. But remember, accidents don't happen by chance.
What are their chances of having an accident this trip? Well, you and I know it depends on the weather, the time and place. On them, I talk about chance. But remember, accidents don't happen by chance. Don't you believe it. But statistically, I do talk about the risk of having an accident. Give 1,000 drivers the same car en route, feed booze to 500 of them and none to the others, and those that have been drinking will have more accidents. They are more likely to take risks. They will commit more driving errors.
The risk, the relative probability of having an accident, dramatically increases as the amount of alcohol in the blood increases. The more you drink, the more likely it is that you will have an accident. Reports show that alcohol is involved in 50% of all traffic accidents. 50%. That's quite a compelling statistic. And another thing I found out when I went through the records, accidents which involved alcohol are usually more serious. The chances of having an accident are greater. The chances of the accident being more serious are greater. Alcohol was involved in 2/3 of all fatal accidents. That's in 2 out of 3.
There are an estimated 200 driving decisions per mile. Let's plug in Bill's data recorder and assessoscope, and I'll show you. First of all, let's play it as it should have been, as Bill might have seen it, if he hadn't been drinking.
Ought to take about 15 minutes to get there. Not too much traffic. Lots of driveways, though. There's a car coming out of one now. Uh-oh. Little old lady. Well, that'll probably hold us up. There ought to be a law. I'll stick to the right. I wonder if Sally will make the scene tonight. Well, maybe I can get around that little old lady now. Oops. Nope. Little bug coming. I'll try it now. Nope. Blue truck. Kind of crowding the line, aren't you, buddy? Can't see a thing through these babies. Hey, Robert. How you doing back there, old buddy? Okay. Let's peek out. All clear. Oops, there's an intersection ahead. I'd better hold off a bit.
Okay, that's how it should have been. He was watching where he was going and had his mind on his driving. Now, let's play it again, as our data recorder actually saw it.
15 minutes. Maybe I can make it in 10. Blast out of here. Road's not too crowded. Look out, Buster. This gal isn't a bad sort. Good head. Not bad elsewhere. We got plenty of beer in the cooler. Bob's too far along for this early. I wish he wouldn't do that. He's going to spoil the scene if he gets obnoxious. And he can. Hey, Robert. How you doing back there, old buddy?
You take care of number one, and I'll be okay when the time comes.
Yeah, I'll bet. He'll probably get us tossed off the beach. Look at that little old lady. 20 miles an hour. For Pete's sake. Too much. Get out of the way. Move it, lady. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. Intersection ahead. Oh, well, nothing's coming. Oh, man, where did he come from?
Driving is a full-time job. You have to be thinking all the time.
We all think about other things while we're driving, but our attention must be on the road.
Sober, Bill saw the hazards. After 3 drinks, he paid attention to just about everything. He was too hostile, too confident, and he took that chance.
Now, if you were in Bill's shoes at 0-3, what would you do? He had less than 3 seconds to decide.
I think I would crowd the little old lady off to the right and hope the other guy took to the shoulder. Well, how did Bill do with those 3 seconds?
He didn't. Bill survived, but not because of any action he took.
If that hadn't been a sharp driver he was facing, well...
Should Bill agree to a drunk test?
I think so. In this case, he will pass and not be booked for DWI, driving while intoxicated. These tests and the blood test protect innocent people as well. Most states have bills in the opera which will make some kind of a test mandatory. You either take it or lose your license.
But remember, you're a hazard on the road long before a test would class you as driving under the influence. Present laws can nail guys like this, and those maybe not quite as bad, but it's the ones who still think they're okay that present the biggest hazard. There are more of them, and we can't tell them from the sober guys until it's too late.
Almost all states really land on you hard for DWI, driving while intoxicated, even for a first offense. And then, too, you risk your good name, your career, everything. A DWI arrest doesn't exactly put you one up in your community either.
Oh, hello, Bill. Bill, this is Mr. Smallwood, Mr. Albans, and you know Carl.
Bill, we were glad the way things turned out. I won't say that you were lucky. It was more than luck. You were facing a skillful driver, and a sober one.
Well, I hope someone learned from my experience. I know I did.
Well, I've been there myself. I know that 0-3 feeling. We all want to stay out of spots like that. But the consensus here seems to be that even those few drinks you had something to do with putting you there. But more important though now, and tell me the truth, Bill, are you still going to drive after having a few?
Well, I don't think I will, but sometimes it's pretty hard not to.
I know what you mean. That's a trap we can all fall into.
But what do you do when you fall into that spot?
Well, first off, don't drink and drive. Use the buddy system. One man stays sober and drives, or take a taxi. Drink plain 7-Up if the drinkers bug you. Give us your opinion on this. It won't be scored. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what you really believe. Is this all a lot of propaganda? Well, I guess that does it. But keep in mind, Bill, the establishment is right. Alcohol and gasoline don't mix. Drop over by the shop someday if you want to talk about cars.
Thanks, I will.
And remember, watch out for those little old ladies.